My name is Erica Marie Morris, and you are listening to the Candle Business Podcast, where we talk all things about starting, running, and growing a successful candle business. From marketing to mental health, I cover a wide range of real-life topics that involve the crazy and wonderful ups and downs that is being a small business owner. Oh man, I yawned at that last part. It is 7:30 at night and here I am yawning. It has been quite the long few days actually. I don't know what it is. Little one is going through some sleep regression period of time right now, and I don't know if I'm going through something hormonally or what, but he is now 9 months old, and I don't know if that changes things with my hormones or him going on. I have no idea, but I'm feeling it lately. In today's episode, I really want to hopefully challenge you, but also encourage you with today's topic when we're talking about skills and qualities that you may or may not possess that correlates with being a business owner. Because I think that a lot of us may have a specific kind of thought or picture of what a CEO looks like and what his or her qualities are like. And you may feel like you are not meant to be a business owner, or if you are not, super outgoing or really, driven and just kind of cutthroat, then obviously you're not meant to be a business owner. But I'm here to encourage you and let you know that even if you don't possess these qualities that I'm going to be talking about in today's episode, it doesn't mean that you can't learn and develop these qualities as you are going along in your business journey. I am somebody who I would not ever have considered myself somebody to be a business owner at all, a CEO. That was never something that I thought that I was going to do. And here I am, years later, and I've learned so much, and I've learned so much about myself, and I've grown a lot. And you will go down that journey as well if you're somebody that is just getting into the candle business world. And if you are somebody who is either looking to start a candle business, or if you are on the verge of launching your candle business, or even if you've already launched, I think this can help you as well. But I have a free download. It is a candle business launch checklist. So you just kind of go through and you see all the things that you should be focusing on and doing before you launch your candle business. And if you're interested in getting that free download, it's ericamariemorris.com/checklist. And that will also get you on my email list as well. And that is just a few emails a month. I send out just helpful business information. And I also am going to be launching my newest digital product really, really soon. I believe next week, probably midweek. I'm going to be sending out emails to let you know when it's available. So you will also be notified of that, which is really exciting. But let's go ahead and dive into today's topic, because we can be our own biggest critics, can't we? We can look at ourselves and say, hey, why am I not doing what so-and-so is doing? Why am I not, the perfect business owner? Why am I not a go-getter like everybody else is doing and, walking into shops 5 hours a day, every day until people, until I get my candles in, 20 stores. There's so many things that you can be very hard on yourself about, at least I am. And there's 3 things in particular that I believe are really great qualities to have as an entrepreneur and that will lead you to success. And I believe that these are all something that we as people can learn and develop over time. The first one, problem-solving skills. This is a huge part of being a business owner. Being able to solve problems is a skill, but it's also something that you can learn over time, especially the more educated and knowledge and familiar you get with something, the easier it becomes to solve problems. So you can think about it like if you were to start a new job of any kind. So I got started as a receptionist back in, 2014. And my first few months there, I was a lost puppy. Like I was learning, and it was very challenging for me. I'm a very slow learner. It was very overwhelming. But fast forward 3, 4, 5, 6 years, I was solving problems left and right. There were things that would come up and I knew how to solve them because I had enough time and experience with it. And that's kind of how you can look at being a business owner, especially with whatever industry you're in. In this case, probably most of you are interested in candles, maybe soap or other handmade items that you are making. But when it comes to problem solving, there's a lot of stuff that is going to come up. So whether it's wick testing, that's solving problems, responding to customer complaints, or trying to figure out even how to create a website. Just little things come up that you don't realize, hey, I don't have skills in this. I don't know how to fix, my computer's having issues, or just little things that aren't even about the actual candle business that are going to cause you issues that you will have to figure out. And, this is something that can cause a lot of people anxiety. And it has caused me anxiety before, trying to solve all of these problems. And there's little problems that come up all the time. But this is kind of just the role of being a business owner. It's not a smooth path. You are smoothing the path along the way. So everybody else is running through the dirt and causing a bunch of, footprints and holes in the dirt, and you're going through and just trying to smooth it out. And that is your day to day as a business owner. There are so much stuff that goes on. And, of course, if you get to the point where you hire employees, there is even more problem solving that comes into play. You're basically like HR. And you are solving problems with, let's say there's issues between the coworkers, or one of the coworkers is not doing their job, and you have to, solve that issue and figure out even, what you should be doing to get more sales. That's a problem in and of itself. Why am I not getting more sales? What do I need to be doing in order to get more sales in X specific area of my business? So for us right now, it's wholesale orders. So how can we get more wholesale orders? That's a problem that we are looking to solve. And you have to break everything down to be very specific on what you are solving the problem for or about. And, it could be just as simple, and this is an issue we've also had too, the circle labels. Oh my gosh, why is the alignment so frustrating sometimes on circle labels? Chris and I have spent way too much time lately just trying to figure out the alignment issues with circle labels. Let's say there is a shipment that was delivered and nothing was actually delivered. That's a problem you have to solve. You're on the phone with UPS or USPS trying to figure it out. A problem that I'm also going through right now is on my Shopify store. I'm using a Shopify theme from out of the sandbox. So it's not a Shopify theme. It's a different theme that's formatted for Shopify, but I didn't purchase on Shopify. And it's not displaying my welcome pop-up on my website that I use from Klaviyo. So that's something I'm trying to figure out. So there is always something that I am trying to solve and figure out. And it could be, again, just the little things that you don't think about, the alignment on your labels, even designing the labels and trying to get them to print the way that you want them to. The color of the ink is not the same way on the computer. These little things that you don't think about that's going to interrupt your flow of your day that you are trying to solve. This is all being a business owner is, I feel like, is problem solving. So if you're somebody who is like, man, I hate solving problems and I'm not good at that, so I'm not going to be a good business owner. And again, with that, I say you can learn. And the more you are in the world of business and you're running your business and you're taking every problem as it comes and solving it, you are going to get more confident and comfortable and efficient with problem solving. And our brain starts to wire a little bit differently, and we start to be able to solve things better. We become better thinkers, better learners, and we become more efficient when it comes to problem solving. And the next quality I want to talk about, this one I suck at. I am not good at this at all. And that is decisiveness, being decisive in your decisions. I don't know if that's if that's a redundant, making decisions in your business. This one is very hard for me. And I think it's because I want every decision I make to be the best decision. I want whatever I do and whatever decision I make to be the right choice. And sometimes there's no right choice. There's no, hey, this is the right choice, this is the wrong choice, but you're trying to figure out which one it is. Sometimes the decisions that you make are trial and error, and it's a learning experience to go, okay, that didn't work that time, so let's change it up and we're going to do this time. That's what I felt a lot about in the beginning with marketing in terms of paid ads or any kind of marketing, because I thought to myself, well, I don't want to put my money towards that if I don't know if it's gonna bring me back like a good return of my investment. But that's kind of what marketing is. You don't know if you're going to get your money back, your like a good ROI, which is return on investment, and you don't know if that is going to be worth your money and your time. And that's the gamble, the trial and error of all of that. I'm sorry if you hear any pitter patter in the background. I have Brody in here with me. My son is sleeping out there, and I'm just kind of in the candle room, and he has to be in here, otherwise he's going to bark at anything and everything outside. But yeah, I'm just not good at making decisions. I've never been good at making decisions. And to be honest, I know that I always talk about how Chris, my husband, and I were pretty opposite in our skill sets. So the things that I am weak at, he's strong at. The things that he's weak at, I'm strong at. But I have to say, both of us can be pretty indecisive with a lot of things. We can kind of go back and forth until we are forced to make a decision. So even with our son's name, we literally chose the name after I already had him and he was in the NICU, and we had to make a decision. So that was the reason why we ended up making a decision. So usually when I'm bad at something, he kind of takes over with it. But man, sometimes we just take way too long to make decisions. And the hard part about being a business owner is that if you are indecisive or you take too long to make decisions, it can make you wait on actually taking action on something. So I think that being decisive is equal to taking action. And if you have heard any of my other podcasts or videos on YouTube, I stress so much with actually taking action on your goals, setting a plan and taking action. That's the only way that you're ever going to see success in your business, is if you actually take action on your goals, because otherwise you're just going to sit around and think about your ideas 20 million times in 20 million different ways and just kind of live in this la la land in your head. At least this is what I do. And then you end up, looking at reality and nothing has changed because you've only thought about it changing a million times and what it could be. And actually making decisions and taking action on things will allow you to be able to grow and be more efficient in your business, because being indecisive leads to stagnation, which inhibits your growth of your business. So for instance, if you're somebody, and I'm not trying to call anybody out, but if you're somebody who is like, I don't know, 9, 10, 11 plus months into thinking about starting a candle business, and you're still trying to figure out the kind of jar that you want to use, you may be somebody who's also very indecisive. So just take a moment and look at yourself and say, hey, am I struggling with this? Because I do that with myself all the time. Now, is this something that I think that you can learn and change, just like problem solving skills? Yes, I do. And it can be very challenging in the beginning because you kind of have to push through these feelings of anxiety and these feelings of uncertainty. And it can be hard to feel confident in a decision that you're making when you don't feel confident in the decision that you're making, if you know what I mean. But you have to make a decision. I think there's a Rush song. I think it's Free Will, where he says, if you choose not to decide, you still have made a choice. So if you choose not to do anything, or if you're like, I don't know if I want to put money into marketing, or if I want to try those paid ads, or if I want to, do a local market, should I do that local market? Should I apply? And you're choosing not to do anything in the moment, then you're choosing not to take action on the goals that you have set for yourself. So that's something to consider. If you're not doing anything, or you're not making a choice, you still technically in the long run are making a choice to not do something. And I find myself even with shipping labels. So we use Pirate Ship for our shipping labels. And sometimes Chris and I will go back and forth on which one to use when we are shipping out somewhere. So there's usually a priority of some kind. Either it's regular priority or a priority mail cubic. There is UPS Ground, and there's also USPS Ground Advantage. Usually those are the main ones that we kind of go between depending on where the customer location is. And because we're all the way on the West Coast in California, we actually pay higher shipping costs than some of you who are in the Midwest. If you are in the Midwest, consider yourself lucky, because you actually have cheaper shipping than those of us that are all the way on the West Coast or all the way on the East Coast. And if you look at a map, you can kind of, see if you're kind of somewhere more in the center of the United States, you have a shorter distances between all the states, versus if you look at California against, Maine, which I think is probably the farthest distance, it can be a lot more expensive to ship out to most places. And most of the people that order from us are more on the East Coast, even for wholesale. A lot of our wholesale clients are East Coast. So sometimes it can be challenging to try to figure out, what is going to be the best option. And sometimes we don't want to go with always just whatever is the cheapest, because sometimes it can be slower, especially as it starts to warm up again. So sometimes we go back and forth on those decisions. There's always going to be decisions that you have to make when it comes to running a business. And just like with the first one, which was problem solving, you have to make decisions in your business. You can't get away from it. I wish I could get away from it. I do. I wish I could. I make so many decisions all the time and try to figure things out that sometimes when Chris asks me questions, I'm like, I don't know. I don't know. Like, can you just make the decision for me, please? Like, I make decisions all the time, and it'd be so nice if you just made the decision for me. And then the last quality that I want to highlight that is very important for an entrepreneur to have is discipline and self-motivation. I kind of combine these into one because it kind of goes hand in hand with both of them. And this one is kind of self-explanatory, because when you are your own boss, you are running your own business, you don't have anybody above you that is telling you, hey, Erica, you need to be working on this, this, and this today. And as soon as you get those done, you've, done your work for the day, you're accomplished. You are trying to figure it all out on your own. And if you are somebody like me who is terrible at prioritizing time management and all that kind of stuff, then you understand how difficult organizing your day can be and actually feeling fulfilled in the tasks that you do. But when it comes to discipline, this is extremely important for continuing. How do I put this? It's very important for keeping you going even when you are in kind of the valley, so to speak. So you know how they say there's peaks and valleys of being an entrepreneur? There's kind of the highs and lows. When you're at a low, man, it can feel like you're just ready to just shut everything down and you don't want to do it anymore. And the discipline is what keeps you going when the self-motivation is no longer there. So that's why I kind of think these go hand in hand. You have the motivation, but when the motivation isn't there, the discipline is what keeps you going. And if you just relied on doing things when you felt motivated, oh my gosh, You're never going to get anything done, because there are many, many times where I'm like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do it. I want to take a nap. But you have to really rely on that discipline that you implement and hold yourself accountable, because if you don't hold yourself accountable, nobody else is going to. Nobody else is going to do it if you don't do it. You can kind of look at it as doing the dishes. It's not going to get done. They're just going to sit here. So I got to do them. It's just that mindset of, I have to do this. I'm the only one that is going to do it. And there is a little bit of motivation that ties into the discipline, but it's the discipline that's going to keep you going even when the motivation's not there, because the motivation is going to come and go, and there is going to be those highs where you're going to feel on top of the world, and it's going to feel like everything is going to work out. You are going to be successful. You are going to get, so many sales. It's all going really well, and you get excited, and it's this high. And then there's the times where it feels like everything is falling apart around you, and the world is crumbling down, and I don't want to do anything. I don't want to work on the business. I don't want to do it anymore. But if you have that discipline, that is what is going to keep you going, knowing that regardless of whether or not you want to do it, you're going to do it. And there's a lot of maturity that comes into that as well. I would say that this is something that I do struggle with, but I think might be a little bit of the, I don't know, like the ADHD inattentive that I feel like I have, that is a struggle. Because when I don't want to work on something and I'm really hyper focused on something else, it's really hard to pull me away from that. And even having my son, having a baby, and when he's up, I turn off my work, and that has been a challenge of just, sometimes I'm working on something and I'm really focused on it, and then he wakes up from his nap and I'm like, oh no, but I really wanted to still keep working on that. So it comes in waves, it comes in the highs and lows, but I still have found myself, over the years, getting a little bit more level-headed with everything, and not being so crazy on a high and then so crazy on a low, and just kind of writing out, even the harder times that are a little bit more challenging. Not gonna lie, this time of year is very challenging. Usually the sales are not as great during this time of year. Also, YouTube is not that great during this time of year. Actually, YouTube in general has just been terrible. I don't know what's going on with YouTube. It's crazy. The ad revenue right now is just, I don't know what's going on with it. So, there's always going to be the highs and lows of self-motivation. The discipline is going to be there when the self-motivation is lacking. So it's kind of playing balance with both of them, but that is extremely important to have when you're self-employed, because nobody is going to tell you what you need to be doing. You have to tell yourself what you should be doing and motivate yourself to do it. And you have to have a reason. What is your reason on why you are doing what you are doing? And you have to focus on that, and focus on the things that you are trying to accomplish, the goals that you are trying to reach in your business. Wow, I yawned like 10 times throughout this podcast. I don't know what it is. I don't know. I'm just feeling a little bit extra tired lately. Gonna get my energy back soon. I've been actually pretty good recently, but there's something going on. I'm just a little bit more tired lately, but I have to give myself a little bit more grace sometimes, because I can be kind of hard on myself. Why am I wanting to take a nap? I need to be working. But sometimes I need to take a nap, and it's okay. It's okay. You don't have to. I don't want anybody to think that you just have to hustle 24/7 in order to be successful, because I hate that mentality now, and I used to have that mentality, and I do not want to make you feel like that's what you have to do in order to be successful, because I definitely don't. Well, I can't anymore. I do hustle technically. Being a mom 24/7, it's kind of like hustling, right? Gosh, I'm such a mom now, just talking about being a mom every 2 seconds. Did you guys know that I'm a mom now? It's funny. Okay, so let's review for today's podcast. So the top 3 things that I think are the best qualities to have as an entrepreneur is problem-solving skills, decisiveness, and having discipline and self-motivation. These 3 things I think are going to lead you to a successful business and give you the skills that you need in order to make the decisions that you need in order to become successful. And yes, I think that you can learn these over time and become better at them if you are not naturally good at any or all of these that I've talked about in today's episode. Thanks for hanging out with me today. I always appreciate you hanging out with me. I've heard recently that some of you actually have found me on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. Anyways, just finding me from my podcast and not from YouTube, which is super cool because I mainly have most of my listeners and followers find me on YouTube first. So if you are somebody who has found me through my podcast, go over to YouTube and find this podcast episode and just let me know if you found me through the podcast. I've had some of you let me know that recently, and I just think that's super cool. But with that, I am going to end today's episode right here, and I will see you in the next one.